But your resume was real good. Let's just say that.
I had a decent resume, and it was. I know what's nice about that. I remember that to this day. I'm sure I don't know if you ever heard of Sean Williams. He's a Renzo Gracie black belt. But myself, Sean Williams, Chad LeBron, and Paul Creighton, all black belts now. We took a road trip. One of our guys worked in a car lot, whatever it was, and a car dealership. We rented a fucking nice size truck, and we road tripped there to Indiana. I forgot how long that was, but
it's probably 12 to 13 hours.
Fuck yeah.
Down to Evansville, probably longer than that.
It was an adventure, man. It was an adventure, and it worked out great. You know,
who was your first opponent?
It was a tall, lanky black gentleman, and what was his name?
Was he from Oklahoma?
He was an MMA fighter, and I forgot his name, but I got him in an arm lock. I jumped the guard. He had long ass arms. He was supposed to fight, I think, Paul Rodriguez in a fight afterwards. He couldn't fight because I busted. I took that guy's arm bad. Tall, lanky guy. Miguel will know better than me.
Was it CJ Fernandez?
I don't know.
Miguel?
That could very well be.
You'd have to
Was
look.
it real life?
We can't. No. Listen, I spent over an hour on it. I couldn't find it. I called Danny Gilbert.
I went with. Listen, hey, dude, I'm still scrubbing that smell off. That dude had that tactic, Dan Gilbert. Now look, listen, nice guy, nice enough for sure. I remember strong guy, but I worked him totally. I went to guard and he actually, I think he went for a leg lock too. But anyway, I remember afterwards, he was one of those guys that you ever hear guys that don't shower on purpose to try to, he's that guy. If he's not, then he's a dirty motherfucker. I remember afterwards, Paul and Chad, they came over, man, I'm like, hey man, the fuck, it ain't my fault. I went out that night, I remember just scrubbing, smelled like this dude. Anyway, he deserved that rear naked choke and a little pat on the head. But he was a nice enough guy after.
He got out of a couple arm bars that were pretty surprising.
He got out of arm locks. One time I jumped a guard, learned my lesson when he fucking jumped down and slammed me, and I should have known better. And I saw a little white flash where I'm like, oh, that could have knocked me out. Took his arm again. He got out of that. It led to his back. I got his ass eventually. He was good. He was good. For his time, he was good. Dennis Hallman was in there, and he got injured before we got to each other. And then I got Paul Rodriguez with a standing guillotine in the finals, and that got me to Abu Dhabi. You know, and that. So
Paul Rodriguez, at the time, he was from Internal Power Martial Arts from Orlando.
Well, he's Dean Thomas's.
He's an ATT guy now. Yeah,
he was a legit guy. He's
in Orlando.
He's got a school in Florida somewhere.
Yeah, but Orlando.
He was Dean Thomas's old buddy. He had a fight.
What year is this? Is this 2001 or
no?
2000.
2000.
These were the trials to get to the 2001 Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
What year did I do that? Was that 2001?
You did it with Hallman the following year. Like you fought Hallman the second, in Hallman's second appearance.
The only way to get to Abu Dhabi, outside of going right to one of the princes at this time, was through Miguel. So
not really.
What?
I could guarantee if you won the trials, I had the ability to guarantee that you went to Abu Dhabi. That was very strong for our promotion. But Matt made reference to it with someone like Renzo, who had been there since the very beginning, had friends and connections there. He was going to get a team in, right? He didn't need me. Renzo didn't need me. Matt Hume didn't need me.
For sure.
Hume did me the honor of sending some of his students. Renzo, we got one of his students and stuff like that. That elevates us and stuff. But it also shows, he had a crowded field, Renzo, of guys from his academies and stuff from Brazil, like Feitosa and guys like that, who he wanted to take care of too, So that list gets long. It had nothing to do with me.
I wanted to earn my way there. I didn't, and I wanted to secure it because Renzo wouldn't hurt me purposely, but he might. He never got tested, I'm sure, but he's probably got his worse ADD than me. He might forget by the time we get on the plane. So I'm like, yo, I got to secure this shit. And
you subtracted politics from coming into play. That's what you did.
I did that. That's what everything, man.
Okay, so let's hear what happened when you went to the Abu Dhabi.
So, well, before then, you take another fight against on Vengeance at Vanderbilt, Greg Melissi, kind of a tune-up, nasty armbar.
No, but dude, you know when I knew I couldn't fight on the local level anymore is when the guy was, this guy might have been a fighter, I don't know. He was a kickboxer. They were trying to find somebody for me, and he came in the back afterwards. And he was a little chubby, right? And I just took him down and arm locked him. And then when I did that, he was trying to get me in a guillotine, right? When I tried to shoot. So he's like, yeah, you. And he comes backstage. He's like, I was trying to get that triangle on you. He goes, man, you're tough. And I'm like, yo, dude, I don't care if I get my ass kicked in the UFC or somewhere. I can't do this anymore. I can't fight this local level of these fucking morons. No offense. So, going to Abu Dhabi, yeah, I was, dude, what an experience. Because it was myself, Rodrigo Gracie was my roommate at the time, Ricardo Almeida, Renzo, obviously, Sean Alvarez. That was our crew. And it was great. And it was our New York crew. And, and then obviously all the other Brazilians that were there that knew Renzo and yada, yada. But yeah, Gomi was my first match. I didn't know him. I just knew it was, we looked at the brackets, myself and Rodrigo Gracie, because we were on the same weight class. We were on different side of the brackets. And he goes, oh shit, man, you gotta fucking kill us. He was your side's killer. So I didn't recognize who Gomi was. I knew he was a Shudo fighter. So, all right, I got this guy with the goofy hair. And then I got.
So we're naked choke.
If I beat this guy, the Japanese guy, Jean-Jacques Machado's next. That's what I see.
Ooh.
So I'm like, this was like my first. That's like Jean-Jacques Machado. When I got into this, it was the Gracie, and then it's their cousins, the Machados. I went to that same judo school I told you that I learned jiu-jitsu from. The Machados had a seminar there once, and I arrived there a little late. And the first guy to greet me in the door, and I was a kid still, was this guy, John Peretti. He was a fucking dirtbag. And what a dirtbag he was. So that guy's like,
one for later.
I'm like, oh, am I late? And I was like, he goes, no, you're fine. And he was like, he's so off-putting. And I found out later about the guy. But I'm like, even though they were right there, I drove in from Long Island. I'm like, you know what? Let me go check my car about parking. I got the fuck out of there. That guy, and I would have learned from the guy first. It's so weird. But anyway, John Peretti. So fucking, I don't even know if you know the guy. But right? Anybody in the business?
UFC matchmaker at one point.
Yeah.
What a cringy motherfucker. But anyway, so
what soured that relationship? We can't let this go.
Well, John Peretti, just to frame a couple of things. Peretti had roots in Long Island, and they, it's not surprising that these guys ran into each other. I am surprised. Like
I never ran into the guy once. I ran into him once.
Okay, well,
and that was in Manhattan. So I don't know the guy. I don't know the guy, but I've seen him afterwards, like on television, but I'm like, oh, that's the fucking jerk off who was at the fucking seminar that time. He had the worst fucking attitude, that guy. And I'm telling you, when I was a kid, when I met him, and I'm like, this guy has a fucking horrible vibe about him. So I'm like, it was so much that I didn't even do that seminar. How about that? And these guys knew it. They knew how to play the game because they were competing in Brazil forever. So I remember that was my first time competing as a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, all right, I know I'm on this level, but that hurt my pride. I got 2 losses. My first time, and before that, I strangled some little judo fighter, some little Shudo fighter, little Japanese guy. He was shorter than me. I don't count that one. But, there's levels to this shit. So I'm like, yo, the Brazilians, these guys, they're not better than me. They're not I was actually ahead of Leo. And then, some questionable points or whatever, but I know I'm right here. I know these guys aren't better than me. What's the problem? And then I looked at the Abu Dhabi rule set. And I'm like, okay, let's think about this. What my style, if you look at Abu Dhabi and how I approached it, the first 5 minutes, there's no points. After that, there's points from there on. I know my wrestling wasn't awful. I mean, and I'm hard to put down if I want to be. Very hard to put down if I want it to be. But I know if I go to my back then, fuck, man, now at almost 50, it's still hard to pass my shit. But back then, my guard was almost impossible to pass. It's not a bragging thing. Look at Jean-Jacques, dude. That guy had me in a pretzel. I remember one time I was in Brazil training and all the black belts were trying to pass. And even with the gi, I kept getting my legs in. And I remember Carlos Gracie Jr., Carlinos, the great, the Baja Gracie founder. He was telling the other guys what the problem is. And he's like, he's got a strong upper body and he's little legs with and he's very flexible. So I'd make enough space to keep getting my legs in and I'd tire guys out. So I knew going to Abu Dhabi, like, look, man, I pull guard. One, then I have a good chance of submitting people down there, reversing them. But two, after that 5-minute mark, if I'm still on bottom, I'm so good at, now they call grapple up, that they think wrestling up and stuff. There's a name for everything nowadays with shit, but that's not good at being on my back and not only getting out from on top bottom, but getting out and putting guys down. I was really good at that. And attacking legs actually before it was cool. So boiler guys fucking calling me. So then sorry guys. so when I went there, so first Gomi, guard, Plata, reversal, took the back, finished them. John Jock, I know it's not going to be that, but I didn't know. I had such faith in my guard. I did. I had a Cutthroatmma in that thing, fucking how many days a week attacking me. He was bigger. He was fucking had such good pressure, and I knew I could handle myself. So again, man, the strategy worked great. And after that 5-minute mark, I did reverse John Jock with my fucking waiter sweep. I got him, got on top. They didn't even give me points for that shit, dude. And I remember being half guard later on, being like, yo, man, like going to Renzo, you see me going like, what the fuck? Like no points. But then I ended up winning because then he actually pulled guard when we got back to our feet to try to sweep me. Got a negative point and won. That to me was the equivalent of kind of what I did in MMA with GSP. Not to be like, I'm not
for sure.
It, but for the guys who were in the know, there was one point when Rickson left Brazil, John Jock was the best guy there. And I noticed,
wow,
this is what the guys back then who lived it, like the guys in Baja Gracie, who that's where John Jock came from, and then eventually he broke off and did his thing. But he was at one point the best ever, like best in Brazil when Rickson left. I remember just when I beat John Jock, I'm like, yo, the rest is just gravy, man. I'm like, I remember just quenching. Well, I had a great rest of the day too. Leo Santos, who's still competing in the UFC.
Yeah, he's in the UFC.
He's still in the UFC, doing great. Back then, he was a kid that was like either undefeated or undefeated as black belt or whatever it is. And I ended up strangling him next. I had a great match with Leo next.
Yeah, he's finishing guys. I mean, when you're that far into the tournament and still getting finishes.
That's why I didn't give a fuck.
Raises eyebrows.
That's why I didn't give a fuck when it came down to the last match with Marcio Feitosa, and Renzo asked me to, take the fucking dive. I said, hey man, listen. He said it. Listen, this is exactly what he said. He goes, Matt, they're looking at Americans as like that they're all for themselves, and this will prove that you're one of us. And that I go, Renzo, look, you gave me this life. If you asking me to lose to Marcio because I've had a seniority, because back then, when I got to the Pan Ams, the one I told you about, fuck, man, I strangled a couple Baja guys on the way there, but now I'm in the finals threatening a fucking gold match. We the same team, Papa. Hey, are we or are we not? I don't feel like we're the same fucking team. I just took out two of you motherfuckers, and that one guy I just strangled, hey, fucking the referee let him, he didn't see it. I had to get him twice. So I'm ready to fuck up whoever's in the finals. That's my attitude. I was a little more.
Well, let's kind of frame this. So he's the head instructor at Gracie Baja, and pretty much Carlos Gracie Jr.'s right-hand man. So now Renzo comes in, obviously Gracie Baja, and he's got his first American black belt. So the politics are coming into play heavy in this match.
100%. I don't regret anything. I don't regret anything. Even like, listen, I know what was going. I mean, without the gi, like I remember leading up to that role with Marcio in Manhattan. So I knew I had a goal within reach. To be honest, with you. I knew that. I'm sorry, Miguel, but before I forget, Renzo did tell me. Look, he didn't have to tell me, but Marcio did leave his neck out for Renzo the Abu Dhabi before that. I want to add that. So I'm not shitting here on Marcio. This is the way they're playing it back then. Renzo was his senior. He left his neck out for Renzo. Okay. they're not letting nobody bow out. All right. So I told Renzo, look, I see what's going on. I get it. The seniority thing. I'll take a bullet for you. You want me to give up this medal for you? You got it. But I'm not letting them tap me. I'm not letting them. So if you watch that match.
Well, how does the money get split up afterward? How does the money get split up?
Oh, dude, back then I don't remember. But back then it was, I don't know what you got. I don't know what kind of money you got for that anyway.
I think you got $5,000 for second place, and he got $10,000 for first place.
Something like that. And then also
cut that in half.
Not for anything, not to brag, but me and John Jock got matched to the whole tournament. We got extra money for that.
There you go.
That was nice.
Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms.